Yeah, people, sorry about that. Just had to put a little food in my face there. I was a bit hungry. My bad. How y'all doing today, man? Good afternoon to everybody. Uh, Maybe good morning still to some people. Good evening to some people. Peace and power to everybody. Hope y'all having a great day. Um, a lot of stuff to talk about in the world of boxing as usual. Um, hey, man, far be it for me to have an opportunity to get y'all comments or y'all opinions on what's happening. And yeah, if you have something to say, if you didn't join me live, leave it in the playback. I would really appreciate y'all comments. I know some of y'all just slide through and y'all hit the like, but I would really appreciate if y'all would leave your comments, tell me what you think about anything I said today. Um, but man, the first thing we want to talk about is Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn apparently, I think this is the talk of boxing right now, right? You know, that Eddie Hearn has reportedly, according to Mike Coppinger, signed a high nine-figure deal with the Zone to move forward exclusively, apparently, with them. That then means Eddie Hearn will be leaving Sky Sports at the end of their contract. He was on with Kugan Cassius recently on IFL, and he declined to comment about the particulars of this news, which is wise. He stated that them and Sky have a contract that runs through June, and on July 1st, any new deal will take effect. So he really hasn't commented himself, but I think it's interesting if he did in fact go to the Zone. Eddie Hearn came out and made a big splash, and people, the American market started to form wagons around to try and keep Eddie Hearn out. And I remember Eddie Hearn saying on an interview, a lot of these guys might have more money, they might have more smarts or whatever, more experience, but what they will not do is outwork him. And I gotta tell you, Eddie Hearn has really proven his mettle, in my opinion, in the American market. Coming into a place that was hostile towards him, where people just didn't want to do business with him for whatever reason. People had all sorts of reasons. Maybe some of them good reasons, and some of them might have been ridiculous reasons. But Eddie Hearn came over and met and was being stonewalled. It's interesting to see that the Zone apparently signed this deal with Eddie, and the deal did not involve Anthony Joshua or Dillian White, which are two of Eddie's biggest sellers. Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, the biggest seller in the world. It's just interesting to me that Eddie Hearn might have gotten this deal without those guys included. It means then Eddie Hearn signed this deal pretty much. What's up, Ronald Finkley? Eddie, the Zone signed with Eddie pretty much on the strength of Eddie. They like what Eddie did for them in coming into the market. They trusted Eddie to do a bit more, and he did. I was listening to certain other streams. I think Ronald Finkley, you on the stream with the boxing voice, and guys were calling in like, yeah, Eddie had all that money, and what did he do? What's up, Lisa? How you doing, my Ayaba? And what did he do with all that money? And it's like these guys don't have no shame, right? Because I don't know any fighter that was not offered an opportunity by Eddie Hearn when he first came over with that initial DAZN deal. I mean, you had fighters like AB getting an offer from Eddie. You had the Charlos getting an offer from Eddie. Wilder got an offer from Eddie. All these guys had offers from Eddie Hearn. Tank Davis got an offer from Eddie to fight Tevin Farmer. He said no, but his team said no. So when people say, what did Eddie Hearn do with that money? They're being disingenuous because you can't force people to take money from you. You can't force people to fight. And all those people I mentioned, had good fights to get over at the zone. So what did Eddie Hearn do with that money? He offered people fights, offered them more money than they've ever made. And what did those people do? They said no. But what Eddie Hearn also didn't do, he also didn't bust his budget. What I find with Eddie is that he's quite capable of handling money. He's quite capable of handling money. He's quite capable of not blowing his budget. He took some chances and maybe, that Mikey Garcia 7 million was terrible. But it showed that a lot of these guys who are advised by Al Heyman really don't control their own career, because Mikey Garcia and Danny Jacobs and all these people have something to do with Al Heyman, but they could take money from Eddie Hearn. So what it exposed is that a lot of these guys have different arrangements, and some of them are fully under the control of Al Heyman, and they have to just stay put. No matter what's offered to you, you can't take it. So what did Eddie Hearn do with that money? Eddie Hearn came in and he made the zone, at the very least, a player in the market. It's interesting, from the UK perspective. I'm not from the UK, so it really don't affect me either way, because I don't have Sky. But it's just interesting to see how I told Raphael Dawkins yesterday, I think it's a good deal for other promoters to be given to possibly have an opportunity now, if Sky decides to continue full bore with boxing, have an opportunity to get their product out there. Eddie Hearn took up a lot of space in the British boxing airwaves. Ronald Finkley says, I believe that too. For example, Tank or even AB are structured differently in who they can. And yeah, of course. You saw when Eddie Hearn had that money, who really was the boss of their own career. Because the people who were the bosses of their own career did take Eddie Hearn's money, even though they were with Al Heyman in some way. It shows who is not in control of their own career. The rumors of him leaving Sky and the circumstances are also very interesting, because not having Joshua and Dillian White on the deal, it shows again how Eddie Hearn does business. Joshua and Dillian White are not managed by Eddie Hearn in England. They manage themselves. And as such, they can sign deals with whoever. So Anthony Joshua has a broadcast deal with Sky. I don't know what Dillian White's deal is with Sky, or if he's just a free agent, he can sign with whoever. But it shows Eddie Hearn works with people all the time who are not directly or fully under his remit. DAZN signed the deal with Eddie Hearn, apparently, if this is true, on the strength of Eddie. Let's face it, a lot of the success of Matchroom now came because of Eddie. People either really liked Eddie or really hated him, and they tuned into Matchroom cards to see Eddie Hearn fail sometimes. Or if you liked him, you want to see him succeed. People like Eddie. They like his personality. Eddie's a character, man. He's one of the only promoters that keeps himself out there in the media. He's accessible. I've seen Eddie Hearn talk to the smallest of YouTube channels. What's up, John Dealey? And a lot of the success of Matchroom is because he was just so affable, available, and the brand of Matchroom kept growing. He was pretty much one of the only promoters that had the ability to try and fully incorporate the social media aspect into the traditional boxing promotions. The rest of these dudes is old people. They don't know you know, they don't know about all this shit. Anyway, if anybody wants to get on with me, you could get on with me before I go back to work. I would appreciate that. Keep me company so I don't be, I'm not here screaming at my laptop screen. Ronald Finkley says, I always thought Hearns was a good matchmaker. Remember when Bellew lost? Hearns couldn't have expected that versus Usyk, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. What up, Black? So in the chat, we got the Iaba, Lisa Bales. We got John Deely. We got the great Ronald Finkley. You know what I'm saying? We got Toby Bartlett as usual. And we got Black coming through. Anybody want to get on with me? Get on with me now. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk to y'all about. Get on. Let me see if I can pin this thing to. There you go. So the situation is Eddie Hearn has allegedly signed a deal with DAZN for exclusive broadcasts. Eddie Hearn has really pushed this DAZN thing. He even made a comment on the boxing show on the DAZN app with Akam Barak. And he said, he was asked about the Oscar De La Hoya situation. He was like, it's weird, because Oscar is dealing with DAZN, but he's on Triller pumping Triller. He's on Triller telling people to subscribe to Triller, but he doesn't do the same for DAZN. Eddie Hearn is all about DAZN. And to me, this was coming because you saw how quickly Eddie Hearn took to the DAZN idea. He sees this as a natural progression of broadcasts. But in my opinion, in the UK, and I'm not a UK, I don't live there, the smaller promotions have an opportunity now to present themselves to Sky. Eddie Hearn, if he leaves a large vacuum. And there's somebody that can step in and fill. Don't know who that can be. It'll be interesting to see who comes through. But I like the idea. I'm pretty much like, for me, I'm interested to see what DAZN does, because I see DAZN every time I log on. DAZN is doing something different. They just recently started adding motorsport, so I see IndyCar now on DAZN in my market. They started doing video game tournaments. They started doing different motors that they do rallycross now. And I see that they're trying to get, I heard that they're going to try and get premiership football in England. Whenever that bid comes up, they're going to push their nose in there. I'm really interested to see where DAZN goes from here. And I want to see what Eddie Hearn does. That dude has a lot of vision. He's a very creative guy. And I want to see what he does. It's just, watching that Triller thing, I understand why DAZN didn't. Why DAZN are tying themselves to Eddie Hearn and not Oscar De La Hoya? How are you going to tie yourself to somebody like this? Even though Oscar is the fighter and Oscar has more experience in the American market than the Mexican market, DAZN has tied themselves to Eddie Hearn and not Oscar De La Hoya. And watching that Triller broadcast, I understand why. What a wreck. Anywho. What else is up, man? Yeah, so we're going to talk about Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor had something to say about two people in the American market. We're going to start off with Tank Davis. So Tank Davis, of course, was on. He's going to go fight Mario Barrios now for a 140 interim belt or something. Remember a long time ago when Josh Taylor won the World Boxing Super Series? and he unified and all of that. Of course, Tank Davis was on. I just watched an iPhone interview with Eddie, and he says it's not signed yet, but whoever he signs with needs to be on board with his global vision. So it sounds more exactly, Toby. What I'm hearing from Eddie Hearn sounds more possible with DAZN, not Sky. It sounds more possible with DAZN. Sky is UK market. I'm not sure where else Sky is, but DAZN seems to be more malleable to what Eddie Hearn wants to do long term. They match his vision more. So anyway, Josh Taylor was asked about Gervonta Davis and this belt that he might win. And I was giving you all the backstory. So Tank, of course, doing what he did, because Tank is the champ of Twitter in boxing, and Josh Taylor wins the World Boxing Super Series, beats Prograis, and of course Tank pipes up, because that's what Tank does. Anybody who achieves anything in boxing, he has something to say. And he was like, he'll beat Josh Taylor's ass, he'll do this, he'll do that to Josh Taylor. And Josh Taylor told him, you can go ahead and make the fight. And then Tank didn't say nothing after that. He said, I'm gonna call Al. And then we didn't hear nothing else from Tank. Of course, Tank was probably trolling and getting some attention, but that's what Tank does. So Josh Taylor was recently asked about Tank Davis, and I'm gonna play for y'all what he said. I'm gonna play for y'all what he said. Let me see. Ronald Finkley said, It was a lot of mature vision on how Hearns can keep helping the possibilities of moving these younger boxers into the forefront in our countries if the fighters wants it. Exactly. Eddie Hearn will give these young guys opportunities to box wherever the opportunity is. Peace to you, Mr. Santos. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Anybody who wants to get in with me. So Josh Taylor now was asked about Mr. Tank Davis and his fight coming up against Mario Barrios, and if he's interested in Tank and his belt. And Josh Taylor said, I'm not interested in Tank and no goddamn Mickey Mouse belt. He's not interested in Tank and no Mickey Mouse belt. Remember, Floyd Mayweather was on when Ryan Garcia said, I'm an interim champion, blah, blah, blah. Floyd said, there's too much belts in boxing. Except Floyd doubles back and says, well, let me get Tank another secondary belt. Remember, Tank has a secondary belt at 135, and now he's having another secondary belt at 140. And Josh Taylor said, I don't want to hear about Tank. I'm not interested in him or his Mickey Mouse belt. Well, don't take my word for it. Let's hear what Josh Taylor has to say about the situation. I'm going to share that with y'all. Y'all know me.
Davis, I'm really not interested. I'm not thinking about them at all. Not interested in Gervonta Davis. I'm really not interested. I'm not thinking about them at all. And for this belt, for this Mickey Mouse belt, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in what they're going to do. I'll come round to whatever happens next, but I'm not even thinking about Gervonta Davis.
Another person.
There you have it. That man said he's not interested in Tank Davis and no goddamn Mickey Mouse belt. And I like that he said that, because, man, these guys get gassed up over foolishness. I hear people telling me Tank gonna go be a three-weight world champion or some shit. I'm like, Tank ain't gonna be no world champion. People busy trying to sell this fight to me as if it's a fight of some importance. I don't care what Tank Davis does unless he is unifying his belt. He's a full champion at 130 and refuses to unify with anybody at 130, but goes up to fight for a Mickey Mouse belt, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Josh Kelly saying what everybody thinking. Real talk. Mickey Mouse Belt Promotions. That's right, Black. Mickey Mouse Belt. This is a joke. How you gonna ask a unified champion going for undisputed about Tank Davis? Y'all gotta stop this foolishness. Y'all gotta stop putting these social media celebrities that box on the side up against boxers who have a social media page. Let me say it again. Y'all gotta stop putting these social media people who box a little bit on the side, like Tank, up against people who box but have a social media page. There's a difference. Josh Taylor and these guys box. That's why he's going for undisputed. Tank still ain't unified, not one of his belts. Not one. He didn't fight Tevin Farmer. He ducked that fight. He's at 130 and won't fight none of the champions there. Drags up little Leo, knocks him out. Has some secondary belt at 135 and going for his Mickey Mouse belt according to Josh Taylor at 140. Listen, stop. We need to start drawing the line as to who's doing something in the sport and who's not doing something in the sport. These dudes ain't doing nothing, Bridget. How are you going to ask Josh Taylor, a possible undisputed champion, about Tank Davis? Mickey Mouse belt is right. Joke thing. Does Tank get elevated to super champion if the undisputed champion? Maybe. It's the choice of the WBA. Some people make you fight for their belt, but that's what they did with Murata. They elevated him. So maybe. And that's what Floyd and them are hoping for, that he gets elevated. So Tank is like the elevator champ. He's the elevator champ. He's hoping Teofimo moves up so he can be elevated in 135. He's hoping Josh Taylor moves up. He can be elevated at 135, at 140. The elevator champ. He's not going to fight Teofimo for his belt. He's not going to fight Josh Taylor for his belt. What these guys are hoping for is that Teofimo moves up and Josh Taylor move up so they can elevate Tank. Listen, man. I don't know what else to tell y'all, man, but we have to start calling these people what they are. These guys are jokes. You're asking Josh Taylor about Tank Davis? Josh Taylor is doing something in the sport. He's concerned about his legacy. How much fights does Josh Taylor have? How much fights Josh Taylor have? Let me see. How much fights? How much fights does Josh Taylor have? Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor has 17 fights. 17 fights. And in those 17 fights, he has O'Hara Davies, he has Paul Stahl, he has Baranchik, and he has Prograis, and now he about to go fight Jose Ramirez. Gervonta Davis. Tank has 24 fights. Look at this resume. A bunch of little dudes, old people. This was the fight that they keep trying to use Pedraza. You can't compare the two's careers. You cannot compare the two of them career. You can't do it. That's right, Toby. Tank is the elevator champ with a Mickey Mouse belt. Get the fuck out of here, man, Tank. Why do you want to hear that, man? 24 fights. Never unified a belt. Last belt on scale. Duck Tevin Farmer. Ducking the champs at 130. And people got a gall to be asking Josh Taylor about Tank Davis. Y'all, hey, boy. Y'all got to find a hobby or some shit, man. One second, I'll be ready. Sorry. I'm a bit quiet because I was doing something else. My bad. Anyway, Josh Taylor also had something else to say about Teofimo. That's your boy, Black Teofimo. That's your boy. He has something to say about Teofimo and Devin Haney. Let's hear what Josh Taylor had to say about Teofimo and Devin Haney. Let's go.
Who's been shouting your name is Teofimo Lopez, who wants to move up and become, as he would say, a two-weight undisputed champion. Obviously, there's debate whether he's an undisputed champion in his own weight at the moment. But yeah. How do you kind of assess him? Is he someone you see as more credible because of the belts he's won in the division below?
Well, there you go. You've said it yourself. He's saying he's undisputed champion. He's not still got the other belt to win. He's got to beat Devin Haney for the other belt. So he's got unfinished business at lightweight to do. Do I think he's a good fighter? Absolutely. I think he's an outstanding fighter. I think he's a great fighter. Did he do well to beat Lomachenko? Absolutely. I thought he did brilliant. But he did brilliant against a small lightweight, you know. But you know, he's a massive lightweight, and Lomachenko's a very small lightweight. But I just thought he's a very good fighter, but he's got unfinished business to do. So I'm not thinking about him. You know, I think he's a good fighter. I think he's very well rounded.
There you go. That man said he not thinking about Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez has work to do at his own weight class because he not undisputed. Josh Taylor says Teofimo has to fight Devin Haney to be undisputed. He not thinking about no Teofimo. So Teofimo talking about he gonna move up and fight Josh Taylor. Fight who? Fight when? Again, y'all keep asking a possible undisputed champion about people who themselves not undisputed. That man said Teofimo Lopez has work to do at his own weight class. I know the Teofimo fans don't like that. No, they're probably gonna like go to Josh Taylor's Instagram page and start crying. They don't like that shit. They don't like when you tell the truth about Teofimo. They don't like that. He not no undisputed champion. Anyway, moving on. Hey man, so I see Jamal Charlo. I see Jamal Charlo exposing himself, showing that he was a part of the Wilder conspiracy of 2020, February 22nd, 2020. Who's this?
Yo,
Santos.
what's up, my brother?
All good, man. All good, bro.
Yeah.
You heard the sound bites?
Oh no, man. I missed it, man. I was trying to log on. I was having
No problem. So let me play back all the sound bites for you from Mr. Josh Taylor. I'm gonna let it play for a while so you can hear all he said about the two people, Gervonta Davis and Teofimo Lopez.
Not interested in Gervonta Davis. I'm really not interested. I'm not thinking about them at all. And for this belt, for this Mickey Mouse belt, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in what they're going to do. You know, I'll come round to whatever happens next, but I'm not even thinking about Gervonta Davis.
Another person who's been shouting your name is Teofimo Lopez, who wants to move up and become, as he would say, a two-weight undisputed champion. Obviously, there's debate over whether he's an undisputed champion in his own weight at the moment. But how do you kind of assess him? Is he someone you see as more credible because of the belts he's won in the division below?
Well, there you go. You've said it yourself. He's saying he's undisputed champion. He's not. He's still got the other belt to win. He's got to beat Devin Haney for the other belt. So he's got unfinished business at lightweight to do. Do I think he's a good fighter? Absolutely. I think he's an outstanding fighter. I think he's a great fighter. Did he do well to beat Lomachenko? Absolutely. I thought he did brilliant. But he did brilliant against a small lightweight, you know. But you know, he's a massive lightweight, and Lomachenko was a very small lightweight. But I just thought he's a very good fighter, but he's got he's got unfinished business to do. So I'm not thinking about him, you know.
Yeah, no, he's right. I feel he's right. You know, I mean, Tank got a Mickey Mouse belt. Like, who the hell cares about Tank's belt? Nobody. You know. And Teofimo, he's absolutely right about Teofimo. Let's get away from that narrative that Teofimo is the undisputed champion at 135. That is not the case. You can have Mauricio Suleiman tell you this, Tio's dad tell you this, and I know I fuck around with, my bad for cursing, but I know I mess around and saying, you know, yeah, he's undisputed when I'm doing my characters, but I don't feel that way. We all know any sensible, knowledgeable person that can use their common sense here in boxing, YouTube, and anywhere, Twitter, will tell you that Teofimo is not the undisputed champion. He's not. Okay, Devin Haney holds the official title, the official WBC title at 135. All right, and Loma did give up that belt. You know. All right. It's not up for argument. These are just the plain black and white facts, right? That's written on paper. Okay. Devin Haney is the WBC champion at 135. Okay. Most of us, real boxing fan, hardcores, and even most casuals think of the franchise belt as it's a Mickey Mouse belt. The franchise designation is a Mickey Mouse designation made up by a Mickey Mouse kind of thinking person, which is Mauricio Suleiman. He's a Mickey Mouse, thinking, he's all about the money. This is why we have Bridgerweight titles and rankings or whatever, or division now for more sanctioning fees. This is what they do. And Josh Taylor is absolutely correct. Like when you take care of your business at 135 completely, which is fighting Devin Haney, okay, maybe fighting a Ryan Garcia, right? The top prospects, your contemporaries in your division, and you beat those guys. Like, Josh Taylor's pretty much saying, like, I beat the guys at 140, then you could come see me, okay? Because Josh Taylor beat the Regis Prograis, okay? He beat the Ivan Baranchyks, okay? He went to the World Boxing Super Series and won the Muhammad Ali trophy, all right? So you can miss him with the bullshit, and I completely agree with him. I don't like Josh Taylor's, what he says outside the ring, his little, stupid little antics and, low-key, somewhat ignorant thoughts, but that's his personal life. What he does in the ring is completely different, right? And what he's done in that ring and what he's talking about in boxing and his boxing, that is the complete, unadulterated, absolute truth of what he's talking about. Okay, that's not me being a freaking Man fan, a Josh Taylor fan. I like Josh Taylor a lot. I think he's a great boxer. You know, in that ring, great personality. Outside, he's a little bit of a shitty person, you know, but that's neither here nor there. That's personal, right? But the business of boxing, Josh Taylor has been doing it, okay, for the past, you know, 4.5, 5 years. He's been showing improvement. And just because you beat, you know, a Lomachenko for 3 of the 4 belts doesn't give you the automatic privilege or right to say, yeah, I'm going to challenge the top guy over here, Josh Taylor at 140. No, you got things to take care of at your division at 135. Handle those contemporaries that you came up with. Then you come see me. That's it.
Wait, hold on. It says Ronald Finkley was his message was deleted by Charles D. That means somebody has Charles D's somebody has Charles D's wrench. It seems like. Hold on.
That's kind of weird. I can't see the chat.
Well, whoever Charles D is, you out of there. I don't know. I haven't seen Charles D in a while. So hold on. If Ronald Finkley is there, hey, let me. I just tried to unhide you, sir. What's happening here? What's up, Finkley? You back? The ghost of Charles D block you? Where's Charles D, man? What y'all doing, my guy Charles D, man?
You know, Charles D right now is unfortunately, you know, he's he's in the Bing, you know what I mean? He tied up right now, you know, gotta
man.
do some little bit of time, but he'll be back, you know.
Hey, free my guy Charles D, man.
Yeah, man. Free Charles D. You know, we here, you know, to say in support of Charles D, man. Shout out to Charles D and his family and stuff.
Yeah, man. Well, whoever is messing with Charles D's channel, hey, leave Charles D stuff alone, man. When my guy comes back, he just jumps straight back in. I thought they allowed internet in Charles D in jail or something. Charles D can't log on to the stream from jail.
You know, it depends. You know, it depends on what kind of facility it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway, man. Ronald Finkley's back. What's up? Hey, what's up, Uli X Games? How you doing, man? We talking about Josh Taylor saying Tank has a Mickey Mouse belt and he's not interested in that. If you remember when Josh Taylor won the World Boxing Super Series, Tank was talking shit about him. But that's what Tank does. He just runs his mouth. And I don't appreciate how these damn reporters keep asking serious fighters about people like Tank Davis. I don't consider Tank Davis no serious fighter. I don't consider him no serious fighter. He's right to say I'm not interested in no goddamn Mickey Mouse belt. This man has a real belt going for undisputed. Stop asking this man about part-time fighters. You don't ask him about this dude who assaults his ex-woman on a basketball court, then does rally cross driving, Grand Theft Auto driving on the road, and then flees the scene. Who's this? John Dealey? What's up, John Dealey? How you doing, man?
Oh, good, thanks, Kong. How are you?
All right. Anything you want to add to anything that you talked about today?
I don't know where to start. There's lots to talk about.
Well, start from Eddie Hearn and the Zone, and keep.
Okay. I think that's a good thing.
Josh Taylor and Teofimo.
I think Hearn joining the Zone can only be good for boxing fans in the UK.
Oh, did you listen to Rafi's show last night?
No, I haven't caught up on Ruffy's show yet.
It didn't seem like it was. Some people are like, oh,
Yeah, I know, but those are the a lot of people don't like Hearn anyway. You've got to remember that.
No.
So there's a lot of UK hate for Eddie. I think a lot of it stems back to when Eddie was bringing boxing along on Sky. The pool of British fighters were not particularly good. So Eddie was overselling fights, but that's his job. He's a promoter. That's what he's supposed to do. And a lot of the boxing hardcores in the UK hold that against Eddie. And they've just hated on him ever since. If you're a fan of Matchroom in the UK, you can get the label of being a casual. But this is a vocal minority of bitter hardcore fans, which they tend to be in the UK. The hardcore fans aren't very, they're very negative people. Let's put it like that. The interesting thing will be the reason that boxing's done well on Sky is because of the machine that pumps through information on their news channel, and everybody watches it because it's the best source of information about the Premiership. So when Eddie hasn't got that to build fighters up, how is he going to promote them? So I'm not saying he won't be able to, but it'll be interesting to see what happens, because I think I've mentioned here before, Sky Sports News is massive in the UK, and it's a very easy way to put fights in the view of casual sports fans who aren't boxing hardcores.
Santos.
John's right. Yeah.
That's all you want to add on that topic, or you?
I mean, Eddie going with just the zone primarily is I think is the best move for me, because in my opinion, because it's a streaming app that is available in over 200 plus territories. All right, I mean, last time I checked, I haven't seen a Sky Sports app, right, that's available in over 200 territories. Okay, Sky Sports is, like John Daly said, is huge in the UK, but this is a global market, and Eddie's, he's at the helm now at Matchroom, and shout out to his old man Barry Hearn. He had a good career, but this is global athletics now, right? This is big time, right? And then it's the zone, and it's their backers. They have big, huge, endless wads of money. Like I've said for the past what's been going on? I mean, Black could tell you, I've been saying the zone and its group, and Access Industries, and the chairman, not people like to think the owner of Barry Levent, I can't pronounce his name, but the Russian-born gentleman is the head. He is the head representative, but he has a lot of other constituents that are, they have money in other places, right? Resources, communications. And these people aren't playing around. They hear what they said. They came to do something, which is to take over the sports world all around the world, right? So that's, ESPN is combating them, other big organizations are combating them, but you see more and more that they're growing and growing. And I think Eddie made the right move. Matchroom made the right move in saying, you know what, let's go be exclusive with the zone. And I can't be mad at that. You got to go where the money is. You got to go where the most powerful resources, the most powerful conglomerate, and where the most resources that you can utilize to promote your product. And that's what they did.
I think what John said is interesting, right? Because it's an easy way to, when you're on a platform like Sky, you use the other Sky, like what Bob Arum always talks about, but really ever does for his boxers, where he always says ESPN has the biggest megaphone in America for sports, and blah blah blah. But you never really see it done where the boxers get on other programs on ESPN. Like you don't see boxers going on First Take and all this other stuff. You don't see boxers being on like ESPN, like doing other stuff on ESPN. You don't really see it. But on Sky, you might see that. You might see the boxers doing that, right?
Well, the thing with Sky Kong is Sky Sports News is like a 24-hour news channel, so they have to fill their day with sports news, all sports. And obviously, because they had a vested interest in promoting Eddie's cards, it wasn't necessarily the main headlines, but over the course of every hour of the day, the Sky fights would get profiled on that channel. And people watch it just for football news and to see what's going on. So it's a very easy way to get names out to the British sporting public who aren't necessarily boxing fans.
Interesting. Well, it's I see Eddie Hearn also announced, or Matchroom announced, that they bought over it's a media house called Loop or something. They apparently absorbed that into them, so maybe that's also going to help the situation.
Well, if DAZN get Premiership football, it's problem solved. Everybody will have the app.
Well, they have said that they will be pushing their nose into the bids coming up.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be tough for Sky because they had a virtual monopoly on it. BT Sports have tried to break into it. Amazon have started breaking into it. And Eddie's been telling everybody for a long time, pay-per-view is dying as a model. Now, my take on it is Eddie gets a lot of flack for some of the pay-per-views he puts on in the UK, but he's doing it because Sky aren't giving him the budget to pay the fighters, so he has to. DAZN solved that problem for him.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think? Well, I'm of the opinion that, because people wondering what next for Sky. I'm like, if Sky plans to stay in boxing, I think it gives other people an opportunity to showcase their own talent. Smaller promoters maybe to form little groups or whatever to approach Sky to say, look, this is what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Hearn took up a lot of space. He has a big footprint. It's a vacuum there now. How do you think Eddie leaving Sky, if true, because he hasn't officially confirmed anything, how do you think Eddie Hearn leaving Sky affects boxing in the UK in terms of other promoters?
Well, it's a bit hard to say because you've got Mick Hennessy, who's not a good promoter.
Oh.
Well,
you mean my guy Shades of Ali? Hey, let me tell you something, man.
I'm not going to bite on your trolling, Kong.
You're disrespectful, guy. That's all I got to say, okay?
Well, yeah, it could be said. But you've called me disrespectful for calling Big Femi and not his full title. So
Oluwafemi.
It's Big Femi, really. I don't know how many Nigerians you know, but none of them use their full name.
Once again. Well, go ahead.
None of them use their full name. Like, I know a lot of Nigerians.
Well, I will use my guy's full name. All right.
Okay, that's fine. But anyway, Mick Hennessy he's lost a huge amount of money, and he's failed to promote things well. So the fight that you're talking about, wasn't that like on some sort of Facebook type platform that he had to remortgage his house for? You're talking about the Joe Parker Huey Fury fight. He tanked on that. He hasn't been able to make a success from a business point of view of his boxing promotion. Frank Warren needs to hand over his business to his son. And these old dinosaurs need to leave boxing because Eddie understands social media and the old guys just can't get their heads around it. And I think Frank Warren's son probably would do a much better job. He doesn't come across like a bitter old man when he's co-promoting with other people. So I think that's the first step. But I'm not sure that Sky is going to have a huge budget for boxing. Because if they're going to have this competition for football, which is their most important sport, if they lose Premiership football, they'll lose the majority of their subscriptions. So I wouldn't surprise me if Sky's budget for boxing's only going to reduce moving forward, not expand. So I don't really know what's going to happen to the small promoters, because they're going to be absolutely suffering due to COVID anyway. There's been no small hall fights on. You know, it could be a situation where all the little people die out and we end up with... I know Eddie wants a UFC situation, and it's looking like it's going like that more and more in the UK. And unless Frank steps back, BT doesn't do good numbers, and BT is going to get into a bidding war for the football as well. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen with all of that, but it could be an opportunity if there was a logical player, but I don't know where he's going to come from. So I don't think anyone's really going to step into the matchroom shoes on Sky.
Well, a lot of the conversation seems to swirl around these Wasserman people. I don't know who they are, and Sauerland. I don't know which. Other than Chris Eubank, I don't know.
Have brought up Sauerland, but again, what? Maybe they'll do a really good job. Maybe they'll do something. Eddie's model is sign the good amateurs from the Olympic system, because those guys get profiled on the BBC, which is bigger than any other channel in the UK, during the Olympics. So he's got people with a ready built profile for him when he signs them. And he started doing it in America, hasn't he? Is it LeSean and Tyshawn Davis that he signed? Standout amateur?
No, he didn't sign Keyshawn. Keyshawn fights. Keyshawn is independent. He's made it clear, because he just fought on a Bob Arum card in Saudi Arabia, so he hasn't signed with anybody.
Okay.
He just
I thought he signed to Eddie. That's all.
Huh?
I thought he had signed to Eddie. So if I'm wrong,
No. He hasn't. Eddie just signs another amateur called Khalil Cole. But Santos, anything you want to say about the possible vacuum that is left in UK boxing for broadcast?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Sarland and the guys that headed up, right, the WBB, the World Boxing Super Series, right? Those are those guys you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
It's a really it's wide open for them, and I think they could throw on some really, really good cards with, if they link up with Sky Sports, they could really fill that vacuum pretty good with different up and coming new talent from other spots of the world. So I mean, I could see that happening. And I think Eddie and Matchroom right now, they're just looking at the focus on a global market mainly. Obviously, the US is not the best market, as we all know, right? It's based on the pay-per-view numbers, but the descriptions are going up on DAZN, every day. And like I said, over 200 plus territories. I mean, you can't beat that. They have the resources from DAZN to really just be that number one global platform as far as the streaming services goes. Because the pay-per-view, I mean, nobody wants to pay $50, not even $30 every time to watch a card. I think people are gonna go for that $100 a year option or whatever currency you're using, and go with that for that streaming service. And it's you can take it everywhere with you on multiple devices. So it's just pretty much the best deal going on right now. As far as the UK market, I mean, I'm not in there, but again, I think it's a really good opportunity for those guys, the Sarland brothers or whatever, to really fill that gap. And I think people will gravitate towards that because it's fresh faces in there. Well, not fresh faces, but new
the
platform, right?
world needs to get rid of the silence as the face of that, because they're not credible here. Everybody jokes about how they're cocaine heads.
Yeah.
But I think Kong mentioned it. Is it Vassman Promotions? Who's bought out Silence?
Watson.
Yeah. So that could work, because the Silence flopped. That to get Eddie to bankroll the World Boxing Super Series, really. They put it on Sky over here when they didn't have a home. So it does. Silence need fresh blood, and if they've been taken over by somebody else, maybe they could do something.
Yes, better management. Definitely, I could see that. And
they
got a lot of money. They got a lot of money behind them.
Less money up the nose and more in the boxing.
Hey,
right.
Whoa. Whoa.
Look, I know that you support these guys that like to powder their nose.
Hey, look, hey, there's nothing wrong with deflating a couple of Quaalude balloons, Ask me.
I'm not being funny. What the fuck is going on?
I'm upsetting all your favorite promoters. I'm just insulting the lot of them.
Anyway, so
I think that brings things around nicely to Tank Davis, actually.
Yeah.
We're talking about a lack of discipline and so on.
Yeah. So go ahead.
This is my face every time I see Tank Davis. Tank Davis. Oh, that kid. Is he gonna miss weight at 140? Let's find out.
John Dealey, your comments on Josh Taylor calling Tank's belt a goddamn Mickey Mouse belt.
Right. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm not a Josh Taylor fan.
Most people, a lot of people are not.
Him as a man, I don't like him. As a boxer, he is obviously concerned about legacy. So I don't need to like him to say that what he's doing in the world of boxing is a good thing. And as for, I don't even know why a reporter would even talk to him about Tank. He's about to fight for Undisputed. I mean, the only way that I could see him fighting Tank is if he lost the Undisputed fight and got his ass roundly kicked and he wanted to make some money. Why would you be interested in a belt that isn't a world title? What's Tank fighting for? The regular or
some regular interim belt or something?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's not a world title.
Yeah,
so, and that's the PBC, and I've been saying this for a very long time. I believe they have an obligation to their network providers, their platforms that they put content on, to provide them with world title fights. So the reason that they don't do unifications and the reason they sort of try and buy up all these little trinkets is so that they can fulfill those obligations of producing enough world title fights to keep their networks happy. I think that's why they do it. And they're just about narratives. Tank is a fat featherweight with no discipline. And whatever ability he has got has been squandered. Because at one point I thought he did have potential. But if you don't nurture and bring potential along right and add the ingredient of hard work and discipline to it, it doesn't go anywhere anyway.
I think it's interesting because it's interesting because I said the same thing. Why are you asking Josh Taylor about Tank Davis? Stop asking social media guys who box a little bit about real fighters. I don't like this, man. Stop bringing up Tank in real discussions about boxing. This dude ain't doing nothing in boxing.
I think he should fight Jake Paul.
I think so too.
Tank should sign to Triller. It's a perfect place for him.
what about his comments on Teofimo?
Well,
Because
it's true.
Teofimo seems sure that he's going to move up to fight Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez.
Well, has he got the WBO? He's got WBO, so I mean, they could call that on them as mandatory. Just when you move up weight classes, you get called to be the mandatory to the belt holder, don't you? That's Usyk's claims based on that for the heavyweight title.
Yeah.
So that could happen, but he wouldn't be a 2-weight undisputed if he did that. If he went on to beat the undisputed champion at 140, he'd be a 1-weight undisputed, not a 2-weight. It's that simple.
In case y'all want to know what the hell we talking about, let me play back the sound bites for y'all.
Interested in Gervonta Davis. I'm really not interested. I'm not thinking about them at all. And for this belt, for this Mickey Mouse belt, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in what they're going to do. I'll come round to whatever happens next, but I'm not even thinking about Gervonta Davis.
Another person who's been shouting your name is Teofimo Lopez, who wants to move up and become, as he would say, a 2-weight undisputed champion. Obviously, there's debate whether he's an undisputed champion in his own weight at the moment. But how do you kind of assess him? Is he someone you see as more credible because of the belts he's won in the division below?
Well, there you go. You've said it yourself. He's saying he's undisputed champion. He's not. He's still got the other belt to win. He's got to beat Devin Haney for the other belt. So he's got unfinished business at lightweight to do. Do I think he's a good fighter? Absolutely. I think he's.
And that's what we're talking about. Josh Taylor says Teofimo ain't no goddamn undisputed champion, and Gervonta Davis has a Mickey Mouse belt.
Well, let's talk about the reality of Teofimo Lopez as well, because I think he's a great fighter. But he beat up a small lightweight who isn't a natural lightweight. It's probably actually a featherweight who didn't throw any punches in a fight that I doubt anybody's ever going to watch again. I mean, that's the reality of it. It wasn't some marquee performance. It's very much like when Tyson Fury beat Klitschko. Nobody expected it, and he gets a lot of credit for dethroning that particular champion, but the manner in which it was done is completely forgettable. It's not a marquee performance.
True. Well, that's it for that topic. We're going to move on now to Mark Breland is back in the news. Mark Breland has signed on as an assistant coach with Jamal Charlo, 160 Charlo, right? And it's interesting that Mark Breland signs with Jamal Charlo, another WBC champ, after being so publicly, how do I say, verbally violated by Deontay Wilder and his minions. And now he's back with Ronnie Shields and Jamal Charlo. Angel Santos, your comments.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely peculiar, right? In this moment in time, but especially since you got to fight with Montiel, which I think the current Charlo as it stands now wouldn't need a Mark Breland in his corner for a Montiel, right? But maybe he's looking into the future, right, for a possible clash with another weight class, because at 160 he's a big guy, right? And he could probably easily make 168, but at 168 those guys hit a little bit harder, right? A little bit harder. And I think you need someone like a Mark Breland, right, who's definitely a complete boxer when he's coming up. We already know who Mark Breland is, to maybe and improve on more of his boxing acumen to add on, right? To add on the defensive tactics and and footwork. We already see that, sometimes Maul's been in there and he's been outboxed somewhat here and there, or he may have struggled more than he should have with lesser guys, i.e., a Hogan, right? Somebody like that. So I think maybe it's a good move in a better step in the right direction to me, and hopefully maybe it'll give him more confidence to finally step up in competition, because Mel Charlo is he's leaving him way behind. Mel Charlo's way up here, way up here, and Maul has not really progressed as far as the competition goes and skill set. We've seen that. And if anything, in my opinion, for me, he's digressed. He digressed in his abilities in there from my perspective. Yeah.
John, anything about this topic?
Yeah, well, I've actually got a bit to say about it. So my question mark with Mark Breland is not about his ability as a fighter, but his ability as a trainer. He's responsible for Deontay Wilder, and he was unable to teach him anything. So, and he's coming in as an assistant again. So I question his ability to coach, not his ability as a boxer. Although, if you want to teach somebody to improve themselves defensively, is Breland really the guy? Because he was a guy with freakish knockout power. He used to get knocked out. He was a bit of a glass cannon. So I'm not sure that his style, and you could argue that about the Kronk style generally. A lot of Kronk fighters got knocked out pretty easily. If he would really add what's required for Charlo to move up. But I'm not sure Charlo is going to move up anyway, because I think he's going to stay on PBC Island and not really fight anybody. I don't think they'd take. The only way that anybody on PBC is going to fight Canelo is if PBC can tie Canelo into a multi-fight deal on their platform. So I'm not sure he's going anywhere near 168, because they would quite happily keep Charlo as a champion and Caleb Plant as a champion, and not have them unify or fight each other. So I'm not sure. It feels to me like they're just giving him a job so that he doesn't sue Deontay well, to be honest. Because Mark Breland's actually got a really good case against Deontay.
Ronald Finkley said, if Maul actually implement anything Breland throws his way, I will be surprised. Maul probably thinks he's a complete boxer, and most would probably agree. But I don't know. I think it's interesting.
He's a complete boxer, but like Tony Harrison, comprehensively, no, that's Mel, isn't it?
No, that's
but against Hogan, he didn't. Even against Derevyanchenko, it's like your claim to fame is beating somebody who has a credible loss against Triple G.
And Danny Jacobs.
Yeah. It's not that he's beat Danny Jacobs or Triple G. I think that Charlo has a lot that he could improve on. A lot.
Well, maybe
Mel's got scope for improvement, and at least he's making the fights.
Maybe Mark will bring that somewhat of his style, his 1-2, because Charlo isn't extremely. To me, he's not like a super, or he's never had to be super technical. He's pretty statuesque, and he wants to throw straight right, straight hands, lots of straights, and I think Mark Breland fought kind of like that. But maybe Charlo.
That is how Mark Breland fought, really.
Oh, okay. So
I mean, he's a good boxer.
Yeah,
but he was 6'2" welterweight, wasn't he? So
yeah, so
he was the perfect person for Deontay Wilder to emulate. He was a tall, skinny guy with lots of power and a good reach.
Wilder don't listen, so it's just interesting to see how a man tried to destroy another man. And here he comes right back, right, and working with another PBC guy. And is Jamal Charlo in on the conspiracy? Did Jamal Charlo try to get Wilder out of this so he could get Mark Breland to himself?
I expect so. I'm just waiting for Deontay Wilder to make that statement.
God damn right. Next thing and the last thing I want to talk about before I get off and go back to my computer is the WBC has unveiled the Mestizo belt. Santos.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Santos.
Mestizo. I mean, not for nothing. Doesn't look very Mestizo-ish to me.
Can you tell us what a Mestizo is?
Yeah, I was going to ask that question.
Mestizo is a half Spaniard Criolla or Creole Spaniard person mixed with a indigenous person of the Americas. That's what a mestizo is. I am not a mestizo because I am of 3 races or more. So I'm a very heavily mixed person, right? I'm Puerto Rican. But yeah, that's basically what mestizo is. That's what that
truth
is.
be told, I think pretty much everybody is. We just live in this world of denial where race exists. To be honest.
You're right, John. Absolutely right. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's what a mestizo is, and I don't know. That doesn't look very mestizo because you'd have some at least some indigenous kind of.
What's the connotation of mestizo? Is it positive or negative?
I don't think it's positive or negative.
It is. So you could legitimately put a belt out without offending anybody then.
Yeah, no.
Depends on who you are. Like you when Europeans came over here, they would have, they had to racially classify you somehow so people could know you're not white.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think was it Mexico or was it Brazil that had like 16 different this bunch of.
I would have thought it'd be more likely to be Brazil because they've got a greater variation, haven't they?
All through Latin America, there's been colorism, and
but there's actual classification.
Colorism is alive and well in Brazil now. Very alive.
What I'm saying is, is it Mexico or Brazil where there's actual real they had different names for different mixes. Like if you were mixed with a black person and an indigenous person, you will call something else.
How big is the African population in Mexico, or the sort of African diaspora in Mexico? Descendants of slaves. Is it big or not?
I don't think they actually know the number because they just started including them in the censuses a few years ago.
When you compare it to Brazil, I mean, there's a city, I can't remember which one it's called, that's considered to be pretty much not only Nigerian, actually Yoruba in Brazil.
Brazil, yeah. Recife has they say the most amount of African people live in Brazil outside of the continent of Africa.
Yes. And there's actually a city that they classify as being virtually Yoruba, I think.
Yeah. Right. So I find this belt to be, I think Mauricio has to be bored. Like,
he's not bored. He's always trying to think of new ways to charge fees. He's an entrepreneur.
You think he's charging fees on this belt?
What else is it for? Why else would he go to the trouble of creating this belt?
You're shitting me. I would think fees would be for a belt that gets you somewhere in the sound, like the diamond belt or interim belt.
Yeah. But if you climb the sanctioning body in the WBC, you pay a fee. Dillian White's been paying them sanctioning fees since he became. What was his first title with her? You get Intercontinental or Interim or whatever it was. He's been paying them fees for them to not make him mandatory for about 3 or 4 years since he fought Hellenius.
Machismo, Jump Dude said a machismo belt. Ronald Finkley says it looks like a girdle belt. You got
bro.
they need a cinnamon belt, bro. This man made up a belt based off a racial category. What the fuck? Oh my god!
It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous.
Is a mulatto belt next?
Oh.
What's the
Mambo?
mulatto con?
Black and white.
Yeah, black and white. And then I think black and indigenous Native American is mambo. The last time I checked.
Man, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Mauricio Suleiman, stop. I'm begging you to stop. Please. Please. You're doing Tyson Fury is the Mayan belt champion.
No, come on. He's at least the legit champion.
Ugh.
At least he actually has a proper belt, if nothing else.
Somebody gotta stop, man. Mauricio Suleiman is just stop. Anyway, I don't have nothing else to add. Anything else from y'all?
No. Thanks for having me.
Oh, real quick. Prince Nassim Hamed back in the news. His son.
Here we go.
His son. His name is what? I just had it. Where'd it go? Doggone it. His son is should be making his pro boxing debut probably within the next year and a half. It's on WBN, the World Boxing News. Man, I can't pull it up. My computer's acting up. Slow. But yeah, he's it looks like he's pretty fast. He was messing around on a bag. That's what I've been trying to read about. Haven't seen anything. He's just talking about, he's in the gym, he's training, and
his name is
Eddie Hearn, or
he looks quite big. I'm just looking at a picture of him now next to his dad, and he towers above his dad in height.
Right. Yeah, he's pretty. He's statuesque. I think he's going to campaign at
right now.
I'm thinking at 135. I'm not too sure. I just saw that, and my computer's just acting up. It's not pulling it up, but it's on the World Boxing News. If you guys want to check it out, the second coming of Prince Nassim Hamed.
Well, he's gonna come out of the Ingle gym, isn't he?
I believe so. Yeah. They got him hitting the bag, playing Snoop Dogg. It looks like he got some speed and good footwork like his dad, like a chip off the old block. But hey, we all know how that happens with sons of boxers. How their careers go.
Well, I mean, Eubank Jr. has not done that badly.
No, Eubank Jr. is not that bad, but Chavez Jr. Ooh, yeesh.
I think Joe Frazier's son's probably the worst out of all of them, isn't he?
I think before that he doesn't particularly enjoy working with fighters who have like famous fathers, because it just always ends up going sour in a way, right? It works for Conor Benn because Nigel Benn has stayed away mostly. You know what I'm saying? Nigel doesn't seem like
it hasn't really worked yet, Kong. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, it's worked out so far.
I'm getting one over to Conor, but he hasn't really done anything yet, has he?
Right, he hasn't. But you don't see Nigel Benn really in the limelight talking about Conor and Conor.
No, Nigel doesn't want to get involved at all.
Right, so that's what I mean, right?
He's going straight for the Loma pick.
Oh, here we go. Yeah,
but Lomachenko's dad was I don't know what he did as an amateur boxer, but he was never famous.
Here we go. Mr. Loma Christos, good day, sir.
Yes, I have returned. It was a pretty shitty morning for me. Got up late start, but yes, the Prince Nassim son, yes, come to 135 and I will make you famous.
Yeah. Well, sons of boxers, I don't know. I wouldn't envy a son of a famous boxer. I wouldn't envy you.
No,
Because
it's a difficult start, isn't it?
I don't think I want to be involved in.
In fact, Tim Zoo's not doing bad.
No, he's not doing bad at all. But
Yeah,
that
he's
only
actually
works
okay.
when, to me, it works best when your parent, your famous, even if your parent was a fighter, it works best if your parent kind of stays out the limelight away from you. It works a little better like that, because you don't need constant reminders of who your father was. You don't want that. No, a lot of these people traffic off their names, and of course you get a leg up by your famous last name or your famous lineage. But on the other hand, if you don't start living up quickly, people be unfair with you, right? People be really unfair.
You mean like Campbell Hatton?
Exactly. John D. Chris Eubank Jr. had the name Chris Eubank Marsh. Sorry, Chris Marsh. Nobody would be checking for no Chris Marsh with his
like Eubank would not have had a career because his dad didn't want him to be a boxer, so he took it up late, and he's not that good.
right. So, but his last name has allowed him certain opportunities.
Or I'd argue all of them. He wouldn't get signed. He would not get signed to promote because he wasn't good enough.
Right. I don't envy these guys.
It's the same with Campbell Hatton. It's the same with Conor Benn.
Right.
Now, to Conor's credit, he's worked hard and improved vastly. But his first fight, I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to watch his development process on pay-per-view undercards.
No. But that's fine. You could traffic off the name, but I think it comes to a point where the parents have to allow the child to develop into their own. And is that why Ricky Hatton is not training Campbell? Because is it his brother training Campbell?
I'm not 100% certain about the setup. But would you really want Matthew Hatton to train you?
I don't know who. I don't know nothing about Matthew Hatton. Who's this? ERF Boxing in the house.
That's probably the way you want to keep it, Kong.
What's up, ERF Boxing?
I'm good. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. All good. All good. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up soon, but I want your comments on Eddie Hearn and this DAZN allegation that he might be going to DAZN exclusively, done with Sky Sports.
It was inevitable.
Okay.
I'm not mad at it as long as they keep it at £2.99 or whatever it is at the moment.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not mad with it. As long as they keep it at £2.99, I'll be happy. I'll be very happy with that. It was inevitable that was going to happen, really. The way DAZN and Eddie's been working, it's been going well. Eddie's had a lot of, for Sky Sports pay-per-views, so if that can go away, he'll be happy with that as well, whilst getting the money.
What does this do in terms of UK boxing if Sky continues on with boxing? If this is in fact true that Eddie's leaving, and Sky says they want to continue with boxing, who do you think might step in to display themselves on Sky?
MTK Global. I think MTK Global at the moment's on YouTube.
That's a good shout, Eric.
I think Sky. I think Sky will probably offer him that because it's going to be similar to what Matchroom did when they first came out with Eddie. So yeah, it'll be good for us. It'll be good for MTK. That.
John Dealey, you were saying something?
I hadn't even thought of what Eric said. I just think it's a good shout. I think that's a very good chance that is what will happen. MTK have got a huge number of fighters on their roster, and they haven't got a platform.
Yeah, that's crazy. How many fighters they got? They got over 200, well over 200, right?
Yeah, they're always signing people as well. They don't seem to stop. So
there you go. There you go. Oh, ERF is gone. Well, thank you, ERF, for joining us today.
Yeah, that was a valuable contribution. I hadn't thought of that. I think it was a good show.
Yeah, man. For real. I didn't think of that at all, man. Shout out to ERF, man. That was a good one. You dropped the bomb on him.
And in closing, we want to leave you with my very good friend.
What the fuck is going on?
He's a handsome man, isn't he?
Look, all right, baby. Look, it's the bird, baby. The Birdman, baby.
Uh-oh.
What's going on, baby?
Uh-oh.
Danny, 154. We're gonna come after you, Mel. After you beat Castano or whatever, vice versa. The winner, Castano, Mel. Danny coming for you. We're coming for everybody, all right? You know what I'm saying? And look, tune in to my show, Family Business, all right? Garcia Family Business. You know, we teach you how to make this money, baby, all right? Birdman, baby, Bird. Tell freaking Teosio Lopez Sr. He can kiss my ass, all right? Because my son will beat his ass too. Come, you know, whatever. It's whatever, all right? Look,
You two should fight. The two seniors should go. I want to see that.
I want what's his name? The dude who called Floyd Mayweather Sr. a woman beater. A woman beat her. You heard that shit? Your woman beat her. Who's that again? That's Guerrero.
Hey, Ruben Guerrero. Look, that guy's lucky. You know what I'm saying? Because I was gonna, you know, left hook him. You know, my reflexes. You know, I tapped his jaw a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He didn't think I fight, but I fight, bro. I'm from Philly, and you know, he could miss me with that Mexican gangster shit. Because you know what I'm saying? I'm a real one, baby. I'm a real one. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know, Ponytail, Keith Thurman. You know, he could tell you I'm a gangster, all right? You know what I'm saying? You know, I do what I do, baby. Birdman, baby, bird.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. I appreciate you coming through and blessing our panel. Mr. Dealey, is that all from you?
I can't believe how many Mickey Mouse belts there really are out there. And we got a new one from Mauricio. It's amazing.
Well, if Tank has a Mickey Mouse belt, I don't know what this is.
I'm waiting for Tank to go for that, irrespective of weight class.
Anyway, y'all have a nice day, man. Peace out. D. Hodges, you got in late, bro. Thank you for coming on still. Peace out, Mr. Santos. Thank you for everybody coming into the chat. Give me a second of y'all time. I'm going back to work now so I don't get fired. Peace.